Often one hears that, people being in therapy for years and years and years. But again, knowing a little about your work, you seem to be able to achieve results in people quite quickly.
Yes.
Again, why do you think that is? So where other people take years, you seem to take hours.
Well, yes, and in fact, after the first session and after this first part of this course, there'll be a second part coming out, which will mimic the second session that I tend to have with clients 3 to 4 weeks after the first one. And the reason it's 3 to 4 weeks after is because it takes about that long to embed new habits of thinking. And by that time, the individual should be having a radically different experience. And why is that? It's because once they've changed what's going on inside, then, and the habits that they've become hardwired to, and the ways in which they've been leaking away their vital life energy, either trying to change the past, which is impossible, or trying to control the future, which is impossible, both of which are ego territory. And so a lot of it is about coming back into the now, which is where one can create a mastery of anything, positive or negative. So the people who have become unhappy have literally become masters of unhappiness, masters of anxiety, rather than the violin or tennis or some other useful, productive, positive thing. So it's the recognition of this distribution of our attention that allows us to change very quickly. The brain learns fast. It doesn't learn slowly over years. And once the light bulb goes on for someone around something, it's in. And even people with the most chronic conditions who've been doing their misery for 20, 30, 40, up to, I've had a client who was 76 years old. He'd been in therapy for 63 years. And unfortunately what had happened for him, because there was nothing wrong with him fundamentally, but at the age of 13, he'd been told by an eminent psychiatrist that there was something wrong with him. And that, because he invested in the authority, as we all tend to do, that belief stuck with him his entire life. And this was a chap who ought to have been a top-flight lawyer, fantastic mind. And when the light bulb went on for him, I saw a little smile come across his face. It probably hadn't smiled for a long time because he'd lived his life as a recluse. And 6 months later, I got a note from him saying he got married. And so all of those illusions that we've created for ourselves inside are shown to be just that, an illusion, and something that we can actually happen to. So we can happen to our inner world. We can actually do something about it, but as I say, the curriculum is devoid of this kind of thing. And the approach to mental health and recovering from mental health now is reliant on psychopharmacology and asking the wrong questions, the why questions, which there are no answers to, no definitive answers to.